A lot of people are walking around unhealed. A lot of people are walking around with undiagnosed PTSD, for example. A lot of people are going out and on the dating apps, coming into new dynamics, coming into new friendships, new connections, new relationships from an unhealed place. And that is why we see so many breakdowns in the dating space, in relationships in general. That is why divorce is on the increase and on the rise, because people aren't taking the time to actually heal their nervous system and to actually heal parts of their body and the responses and the reactions that their body feels and notices and witnesses in conversations, in how we react to things, the slip of our tongue, the slip of a word in conversation, how we get defensive, or if we suddenly attack someone or verbally abuse someone, emotionally abuse someone. This is all coming from an unhealed place. If you look at human behavior and you start studying human behavior, you look at videos online. Actually, one of the greatest examples are all of the reality TV shows. And this is a really great way to actually see the differences in human behavior. It is very easy to spot someone who is unhealed, who is coming from a place of an unhealed nervous system. They're coming from a place of lack of safety. They're coming from a place of abandonment. They're coming from a place of lack of self-worth, lack of self-trust. They're not trusting how their body is feeling, or they have not yet chosen to learn the emotional competencies that are necessary in forming strong relationships with other people. Unless an unhealed person is meeting a very healed and secure person who is able to, or has the willingness to give them the space, give them the time, give them the patience, give them the presence to allow them to grow at their own pace, or to heal at their own pace, which can also be a very rare instance because it's not always fair, so to speak, for one person who has done so much healing and growth and work on themselves for another person to come into their lives who has done the opposite. Usually this kind of dynamic is not going to work in the end. It may work in the short term, and it may actually help and potentially give this other person, or maybe this more unhealed person, a chance at growing and developing and leading them down, a deeper sense of awareness of their body, how to better emotionally regulate themselves, how to actually feel into their emotions, and also knowing how to actually give grace and patience and responding rather than reacting to other people's opinions, experiences, attitudes, beliefs at the drop of a hat. If you react immediately within a split second, if you feel anger, hatred, you immediately get on the defense as soon as someone comes in with you at, which doesn't agree with your value, doesn't align with something that you believe in, and you immediately get defensive. This means that you are easily manipulated because you are unable to put a barrier between yourself and another person. And the better and the more time that you spend actually learning these emotional competencies, because these are learned skills, and these learned skills are going to change the entire trajectory of your life, the people that you attract into your life who are secure and who are able to give you the time of day, give you the patience, also the reciprocation in what you actually deserve. Because I imagine the people that are watching these videos right now are the people that are actually doing the work on themselves. They're actually healing their nervous system. They're doing the somatic work, the physical practices, the emotional practices, the spiritual practices, the financial practices. And from what was originally considered many years ago, the soft skills in the workplace, for example, which are conflict resolution, empathy, active listening, resilience, communication, flexibility, even patience. All of these are emotional competencies that, when learned, are actually the hard skills. They're not soft skills at all. These are the hard skills that many people are lacking, and it is very, very easy to pick up these in conversation. And something as well that I like to talk about is the correlation between confidence and competence. Confidence comes very naturally after a certain level of competence. If you have belief in your abilities, in your strength, even in your weaknesses, and where you need to improve or where you need to better develop your skills, and if you have evidence to support your beliefs, your strengths, anything that you've overcome in past moments that have developed the character that you have become today, you will therefore then have competence in what you say, how you present your message, and actually having a solid foundation and knowingness of who you actually are. This evidence demonstrates your experience or your knowledge in something. This is competence. Now, the way that competence now interconnects with confidence, and I'll tell you that confidence is the psychological state of someone's self-belief. You can act confident. Many people can act confident, but eventually the confidence will leak out into the cracks. Cracks are our words, our actions, and our expressions. Incompetence appears in how you treat others, how you speak to others. What is your ability like to actually manage your personal emotions? Your overall energy or aura that others actually feel around you? Every human interaction is an energetic exchange. Take it for example, when someone walks into the room who is angry, you can feel that tension in your body. You can feel that tension that has just suddenly come into the area of that room that was previously calm before this person actually walked in the door. Within social psychology, emotional contagion is real. Emotions are literally contagious. Just like a smile can actually uplift the room and improve the mood of the group or improve the mood of another person, negativity can bring down the mood. The key is actually learning to be more intentional about the energy that you're actually putting out there, because other people will sense it. And when we come back to competence and confidence, you can act confident in the short term, but in the long term, there is no way of getting around this leaking out when it has been an act all along and you've been coming from an inauthentic expression the entire time. A lot of people see this as the outgoing person or the extroverted person, but sometimes the most confident person in the room is usually just the loudest and not the most competent. Competence appears in your ability to actively listen, how you actually express your personal emotions to other people, how you hold space for other people's emotions and your willingness to do so, and then how you actually address conflict. One of my favorite analogies is you can either be a candle or a light that passes your flame and reignites people's flames around you in a dark room, or you can be the rotting piece of fruit that sits in a fruit bowl and spreads that into the other pieces of fruit that were previously not rotting until you sat in that bowl. So no matter what energy we're putting out there, it is spreading, whether you consciously feel that or not. And whether you don't consciously feel that, other people around you are feeling that energy. Please subscribe if you got to the end. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.